Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so we're going to work on boutique apps today. So, several things. One is we want to incorporate the voice record function here. I think that's the first thing we're going to do. But then we're going to do make sure these domains come back. That's a problem that came about when I added this other function to this part. And on the dashboards, I don't have a way to, well, none of us have a way to make our PRDs public. And I think that's a very cool function. So let's get started. I'm just going to take a screenshot of the part that I'm talking about, so it's pretty much impossible to have confusion. I want the voice record function here with a thought. Oh, I know something I forgot to tell you. Organizer. Voice record input. Like it is with on the other input option. Input screen. Screen. Because in case you haven't been here, if you choose to do it this way, where you don't need help organizing your thoughts, then you see you have the voice record option here. I'll help you add voice recording functionality to the AI Thought Organizer. So the other thing I forgot to tell you, is this is a good idea. You know, because we are not taught, anyway, um, your project idea. Right now, this was working fine, but now it is only repeating what is said in the prior window. You see what I'm saying? When it should be taking what you said, okay, and developing that thought, the idea. Even though in this particular option it says you tell us about your idea in detail. If you don't put anything here, it should either fill in the gap and ask questions on how it's interpreted or ask you questions. That's going to be better. But there's a limit to that because I've already created this link so that if you do have only scattered thoughts, then you go this route. You shouldn't be using this. It says, describe your app idea. Well, tell us about your idea in detail. So there's that. But still, if matter of fact, that's the deal. If you do a one-liner, then maybe I'll have it. No, I know how to do it. If you do one-liner, I'll say send you over to the other link. And then that's one simple statement in the code. If the person gives limited detail about the app, send them over to the I need help with that flow. Because this one is going to walk you through it, but let's see if this works. We are testing the recording function to the AI Thought Organizer. Is this AI Thought Organizer working as it is supposed to work? Let's see. So far, so good. So far, so good. So far, so good. Now, all right, let's handle that real quick. Hopefully. When I complete my entry in AI Thought Organizer and it gives me feedback, or well, and it goes to the next screen or next question. Let's do it that way. Oh, let's go to next iteration. The content oh, matter of fact, let's test it again. That was a test. Let's see, how do you feel about it? Do you think the test was successful? Do you have an answer for that? This is going to be interesting. All right, it works. But this is what I'm talking about. So on the next screen, it goes all the way down to the bottom. Let me take a screenshot of this. When ideally, it should start at the top of, or let's say, reach the set usage. Okay. It's a shame that I have to do this process over again and couldn't just get back to the screen I was at before I went over and increased my usage allotment. Show me what you see. Wait, my bad. I think we need a button behind that link so that people it stands out from the rest of the text and you have a good chance of recognizing it to know that that is an option. When the AI thought organizer goes to the next question, it starts with the screen view at the bottom. That is not good user experience. The default display make the default display be at the be beginning of the new content, so the user doesn't have to scroll to find it. Find where the beginning of the new content starts. Is that clear? That is a process that I strive to always consider. Are my instructions clear? Can they be taken more than one way? Is it easy for the AI to follow what my intentions are? Not having to guess what it is that I'm meaning when I say what I say, which is a good habit to have when communicating with each other. Now I need to add the data AI message attribute to the AI response elements so the scroll behavior can target them. Let me find where the AI conversation messages are rendered. It looks like you want to improve user interface of your app by adding visual elements that help the user recognize important actions. Here's how to focus on this effectively. Oh, okay, it is answering. I thought it was about to work on the app from the input. Okay. No, it is advising me on actually working on the app, but let's see. I think we need to highlight. I think we need a button. Wants to consider user experience. What specific action do you want the user to take when they see this highlighted button? It's going along with it, but is it actually going to try to create an app to do this for someone on their app? Do you want to proceed? Now I'm curious. Great. Let's dive deeper into your app's functionality. Okay. Well, it's doing the job. It's assuming that the reason you're there is to work on the app. So it's trying to get a grasp on what's, I'll leave it alone. I was going to attempt to implement more guardrails, but you know, I think we need to highlight. Now that is way, 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 way out there. So I'm going to say, all right, I want to check this first. So let me answer again. And then because of this, oh, let me see, does this stay in the thread or does the prior stuff eventually gets eliminated? I really don't know what I want to do. This is crazy. Nah. Okay, it might have it fixed. Let's try it again. I didn't even have to refresh identify. What problem do you want to solve for users? I want users to stop cooking with cheap vegetable oil. this should trigger a guardrail. That's a great focus. Okay, perfect. It stopped. Perfect. All right. They did that well. Congratulations, Replit. Good job. That's a great focus. Helping users improve their cooking habits can lead to a healthier lifestyle. Let's clarify on how your app can achieve this goal. I kind of don't want to mess with it because one or two things are going to happen. Either it's going to be able to help someone who's real scattered, or maybe they forgot, I don't know, forgot where they was at, and it's going to bring their attention back to. Well, now that is way out there because you only get 6 chances to work on this thing. If you end up being too far away from you zigzagging with information like that, you'll never get your ideas. Need I need better guard rails for the input. I started off talking about buttons. You know what? I don't see this as being a big problem. Uh, and mess around, take the chance of it breaking something else. What is more important is the feasibility statement. That is without question the issue. This is a questionable issue. That is not a questionable issue. It's just repeating that last line. Schedule their customers that live near each other on the same day. Yo. All right. Where were we? On the same day. On the same day. All right, let's go. This is what we are wanting to fix. Now let me make sure. Let's make sure we can deliver actually exactly what you have in mind. This quick assessment helps us give you honest expectation up front. And by the way, also on the options through the well, let it fix that first, because that could be a little tricky to solve. On the project feasibility assessment, there should be a summary of what the this should be a summary of what the AI interprets of the project idea is based on user input. And you're absolutely right. Your project idea section should show an AI interpreted summary, not just repeat the raw input. Let me find where this is implemented and fix it. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. And here, you can only make one choice. I think you should be able to make two choices. And also, it starts with, yes, this is perfectly my, yeah, so maybe I won't mess with that. But here, you have the chance to iterate. Partially correct, but missing some key elements. Needs significant changes. All right, the bottom option, I was gonna say should kick you back out and start you over. If you, but again, this actually is a cost to run all of this. So I don't want it to create a loop where people just keep cycling through using the AI to play with ideas. But obviously, there's no need of going forward if this is the case. Partially correct, but missing some key elements. All right, so I know how to do it. Basically, it's completely ignored. Well, now let's see. This will be interesting as far as saying to it on the project feasibility assessment. The series of questions seem unrelated to each other, no matter what the person chooses. The exact same thing happens with each screen. Is that information taken into account and used after the final screen for input for selections? And if not, we need to use that data. So that's the interesting part that I'm talking about. Instead of giving it specific instruction on how to use the data, tell it, we need to use this data. That's what's the interesting part. How will it use it? Now I need to create the backend API endpoint. Let me. So basically, I'm just asking questions and pushing boundaries and seeing and thinking about the capabilities. I'm not saying that that is the way that you should do it. Perhaps I'll be your guinea pig. Perfect. I found where the perfect. I found where to add the new endpoint. Let me add it right after the AI assistant endpoint. Okay. Okay, it's ready. It's ready. Why they don't have the footing on the policy page? So let's test it out. We use this option. We want an app that will take people's Instagram posts and turn it into blog posts. It's just repeating. Please test the project feasibility now. Navigate to any app ideas, quote flow, and see how your project. No, man, I'm talking about this window right here. Oh, okay, my bad. Your project idea section now displays an interpreted summary instead of just repeating. I need the back button. I want to create an app that will enable the user to put in their Instagram, and I don't know what it needs to do. Maybe they need to log into their Instagram as well within the app. I don't know. But I wanted to be able to go through their Instagram page and use the images posted and the content that's posted to create blog posts, or optionally create an ebook. Yeah, an ebook or a digital product. That's what I really want. Well, yeah, both of them. A digital product based on the Instagram posts. So, in other words, provide a way for them to capitalize on all of the work that they've done to build up their Instagram channel. Um, Finding the positive comments, some of the best positive comments, and feedback to assist them on having credibility for that digital product. Okay, maybe there's an overall digital product for the channel itself, but also breaking down the things, the different things in the channel, and assigning a value to it, maybe 1 through 10, on the things, the digital products that would be related to, or the types of digital products that the user could create based on posts and the feedback given related to whatever the posts are, if that makes sense. So make an assessment of their Instagram for the purpose of creating a digital product or digital products. We'll analyze to see what products can be created, and we'll give a rating on those products based on feedback in the comments related to those products. Create a rating system on what's likely to be have the most traction based on the amount of content related to the products and the sentiment uh, from the reviews of that post or product, if it's a product that's been posted about that. Now the AI has to decipher on whether the user is the owner of the product or is just promoting the advertising the product. We're talking about the user's products, the user that creates products or plans or programs. Obviously, this is a real app idea. That was a rather long input. Let's see how it handles it. Now here's the real test. Word for word. And I'm going to copy this so I can use it. All right, let's get this first. I just had an idea. My idea is if this perfectly describes, good, great, keep going. Mostly correct with minor adjustments, then it should ask you what's the adjustment. Partially correct, missing the key elements, what's the key elements? Need significant changes, send you back. That's it. That is a great user interface flow. Logical, shouldn't be too hard to implement because all you're doing is adding, all right, if then else statement here. All of these if then else statements. But if this is clicked, then allow an input window and add it to the PRD. Redo the, not the PRD, but add it to the project idea in a logical way. Take this into account, fit it into the project idea. And the same thing for each of these actually. So yeah, there we go. Now I'm excited because I like that. I think this is the most logical way because this person is here because they think they have it all organized and all together. Then if they get to that part, then you see, well, I'm missing some pieces of the puzzle. So I might need a little help, but I don't need to go through the totally unorganized, scattered thought. This is good. Yeah, that's good. Can you? Yeah, I'll test it. I think this is it. I want to create an app that will enable the user to put in their Instagram, and I don't know. Well, it's still, and I don't know what it needs to do. Maybe they need to log into their Instagram as well within the app. other types. Yeah, nah. It changed it some, but it's still not. No, it is not summarizing the idea. It's not organizing the thoughts into a logical summary and interpretation of what the app is supposed to do based on user input. That is what needs to happen here. Organizing the thoughts into a logical summary and interpretation of what the app is supposed to do based on the user input. That is what it's supposed to happen here. No, it is not. I should have a comma after no. It is not organizing the thoughts. Let's see what's happening. Perfect. I can see from the logs that the AI summarization is working. The back end is properly receiving the request with the long, what? Oh, okay, with the long Instagram description, calling OpenAI took 2,884 milliseconds, getting a summary response. The issue is the front end. It's not reaching the front end. It's not being displayed properly. Let me debug the front end state handling. Okay, great. Oh, handing. Okay, great. Oh yeah, no, I said it right. Handling. The proposed app aims to assist users in leveraging their Instagram content to create digital products such as blog posts and ebooks. And I think they got it. Think they got it. Oh, come on, man. It's still going. Sure, sure, I can test it. Drum roll, please. The proposed app aims to empower users to leverage their Instagram content for creating digital products such as ebooks or blog posts. Users would log into their Instagram account through the app, which would analyze their posts and comments to identify potential digital product ideas based on user engagement and positive feedback. The app would also implement a rating system to assess the viability of these products, providing insight into which offerings might attract the most interest based on the sentiment and relevance of the interactions associated with their content. Overall, the app seeks to help users monetize their Instagram presence by effectively utilizing their existing contents and audience feedback. Perfectly done. Perfectly done. What do y'all think about this actual app, though? And I don't know. Now let's find out. Can I build it? But this is a real app idea. What do you think? Does this project accurately capture what you want to build? I'm going to say, let me say this in case I forget. I'm going to say yes. Now I'm going to say no. Now I'm going to say this needs significant changes just because. You see this? This help understand what is the most important thing an app must do to be successful. Ideally, ideally, oh, okay, these two have So that's cool. I told it the people that will come here will likely not know what these terms are that you're asking them to answer. So let them hover over the options and get a description of what it means. And I see that it's decided which ones to do that for, which is cool. It makes sense. Some of the things are self-explanatory to a degree. You still might not know what analyzed data or reports mean without examples, but you know, we're halfway there. But the bigger issue I think is again with logic, as far as it goes through these series of questions regardless of what the answer is, which in many cases are okay, but in edge cases, what is called, when it's something that doesn't happen as frequently, but it's wide open to occur, how does your app deal with those types of situations? You know what I'm saying? So that's called edge cases. The less frequent occurrence of, I don't know how to put it in real words, the less frequent occurrences, those are edge cases. And it's something that you want to think about with your app. Like there might be how it handles the way that you deal with it might be for all edge cases, handle it this way. Or if it's a common enough edge case, you might say, in this type of, or it could be types of edge cases. So you might say, in this type of edge case, handle it this way. In this type of edge case, handle it this way. Or obviously, you could try to go a different route and take into account, or I mean, just think about it. You can ask more questions to come to a solution in addition to the questions that you might have asked. Well, it's applied here. So in this case, it may just mean asking more questions to get a better grasp on concept when there's an edge case. If you don't have the information in order to make a good feedback, then ask more questions. That could be a way to respond to edge cases. But anyway, I think you get the idea. What am I going to do here? Because again, the more processing you do, then the higher the expense. And don't forget, no one has paid anything at this point. So that is the balance that you have to decide on. Like, there's not a premium charge for using this that can offset people just going wild here, you know. So there has to be some kind of line drawn, some kind of boundary on how far you go with accommodating edge case users, you know. So let's say, so let me think about it for a second. But we do know definitely that the way they respond to this question, especially the very first question, like it's ridiculous to keep going forward in the exact same manner if someone said this needs significant changes. You see what I'm saying? So obviously that's a problem. And that's another thing that you have to do is determine what things got to be addressed, even if it is the MVP. This it makes absolutely no sense. It's counterproductive. Is it eradicates the value for this to exist, and someone hits this button and it keeps going. So those things, you know, it has to be taken care of. Other things, like if they clicked, yes, this is perfect, and it asked the other questions, you could say, skip all of the questions and go straight to the end. But I ain't gonna spend time on trying to make it do that. Not first anyway, because it is a better user experience. If you say yes, this perfectly describes, then it can just go straight to, all right, great. We it can go to the end of this. It shouldn't have to go through all of the questions. But you know, that's not as big of an issue as this one. That's perfect example. Does that make sense what I'm saying? Now let's get to it. Okay. I am going to address both of those, and I'm going to say okay. No, I'm not going to say okay. I'm going to take a screenshot. I be tripping. The okay is internal dialogue. The okay is a shifting the gears in my brain. Why do I keep typing it like I need to communicate that shifting the gears to the AI? That's crazy. It's not crazy. It's overly expressive of one's internal thoughts. All right, okay. Um, oh, that now works very well. Thanks so much, media training. Now, on the first sets of questions, especially, but okay, let's start there. Now, let's start. First set of questions. Depending on how they answer, also meaning what they choose, there should be different outcomes. Not really outcomes, there should be different um, actions that occur. If they choose, and I'm gonna go ahead and one, this perfectly aligns. No. It's still a good series of questions. I'm tripping. A series of questions are great. If question 2 or 3 is chosen, they should be given mostly correct with minor adjustments needed. Partially correct, missing some key elements. Given an input screen and the prompt for them should ask for question number 2, what minor adjustments need to be made. For question number 3, what are the missing key elements that you, well, that's it. I got a tendency of using too many words. What are the missing key elements? That's it. What else do you need to add to it? Okay. Then the user's input should be taken in and the AI should re assess, reassess, reassess the, well, just should plug that input into the understanding and logic based on, you know, based on logic, based on how that, how it makes sense to interpret. Well, how do you say it? The AI should plug that in, should use that information to create a new interpretation. Because you know what I'm saying? You don't want to just plug it in. You want to see if it changes your Wait, no, they're going to say partially, but missing some key elements. Mostly correct with adjustments needed. Maybe you don't need it correctly. Well, it needs to interpret. The user's input should be taken into account, and a new adjustment should be made to the project idea summary given based on how that input logically fits. Let's put it that way. For question number 3, well, for both questions, that's how it should. Oh, I actually said for question 4, missing key elements should also the same similar process should be done. Yeah. All right, let's see what happens. And I have to go shortly. Maybe we can get this done. Let's see. Perfect. I can see the AI summarization is working beautifully now. I understand what you want. You want dynamic branching logic on the first questions. Maybe not just the first. All right, process payments, manage user data. What is the one most important thing? Based on your refined concept. Now this makes sense. Based on your refined concept, what technical aspects are most critical? And that's something else. These, you know, this is a canned set of questions that might not always be relevant. I guess a couple of them, that's the thing. Something would be relevant in any app, but you don't want to choose based on the only options that are relevant to the app. You want to choose based on several things that are related to the app to really get technical aspects that are most critical. Does that make sense? You're not getting a chance to choose from the actual aspects of your app to determine what's most critical. You're choosing from a set of options that are given no matter what the app is. That's what I'm saying. And that's not nice. That's not nice. Now I'm thinking about it in a more proactive manner of where to place this thing so that when shorts are made, it works well. But I need to do that in a way that does not compromise the viewing of people on desktop, right? On landscape video. So I don't want to block the words. This is a good placement. For some, it will annoy them. For others, they're like, no big deal. Okay, I know why you're putting it there. And this, my friends, are various pieces of the puzzle that you'll find when you're doing content. Very rare is it that everyone will approve of or appreciate or understand what it is that you do, especially if it's an edge case. But more you are pushing the boundaries or doing things differently, then the more likely people will have something to say that is not within their wheelhouse of understanding or comprehension. And the more you do things like everyone else, then the less reason there is for people to even pay attention in the first place. Of course, there are edge cases. You're more entertaining, but remember I said just like everybody else. But if you say the same thing as everybody else, the content is the same thing as everybody else, but the delivery is different in a favorable way, then of course that's a plus. But my point is basically for you guys who are, especially businesses who are hesitant to put up content only because you think some people are going to be unhappy. My point is, don't worry about that. That's their problem, not yours. Put into context. There is a such thing as critical feedback that is useful, but some people just the negative nannies. They'll always find something to say. Where they'll say something that 80% of the people think makes sense and is good and is useful and is valuable information, and that 20% will be like, who didn't know that? I could have looked that up. You didn't. You're here. My point is, don't worry about that. Do what you're gonna do. What about the 20% who really appreciate your perspective, appreciate things that you pointed out that they wouldn't have considered? Is that the same thing? Said a different way? Who, so just do it. It's all good. As long as you're providing some value to someone. You're not just, you know, spewing hatred or useless information or deliberately misleading people, then put it out there. Help some people navigate through situations that you've already or that you are currently going through. Sometimes it'll be just what they need in order to blaze their own trail. toward a similar goal, similar objective. Check all paths for correct flow. All right, perfect. I can see the AI summarization is working beautifully. We did that. Show for more. Decided on branching logic. I feel like I might have should have gone ahead. Mostly correct with minor adjustments needed. Shows input asking what minor adjustments needs to be made. Option 3, partially correct with missing some key elements. Shows input asking what are the missing key elements. Option 4, this needs significant changes. I forgot to address that. Shows input asking what are the significant changes. Okay, that works. I'm gonna say take it back out and start over again. AI analyzes the specific. Feedback in the original summary generates a refined summary that incorporates the input, shows updated project summary with success confirmation, continuous assessment with improved summary, enhanced user experience, shows current summary for content. Please test. Let's go. Let's go. I've lost it. Oh, yeah. Drum roll, please. All right, that's still good. Let's see what it says here. Let's see. What are the, I mean, this is unnecessary right here. You got it right there. Anyway, what are the missing key elements? I want make sure it gives the user the option on what product he or she wants to focus on and for suggestions on gaps that can be filled to create a better digital product. The user can add those, add that content or skip the adding of content, filling in the gap, or choose prove later. And there should be a way to keep track of that decision and in the process so the user can pick back up with filling in the gap for a next improved version. All right, let's fix it. Improved version of the product. Hey, this is a good idea. I must say so myself. Refine summary. Now let's see if this works though. Oh, It's already done it. The proposed app is designed to empower users in transforming their Instagram content into various digital products such as ebooks, blog posts, while allowing them to select specific product types to focus on. User will log into their Instagram account where the app will analyze their posts and comments to highlight valuable content management metrics, man, and identify gaps that can be filled to enhance the digital offerings. Users can choose to add new content or opt to improve the product later, with the app providing a tracking feature to monitor the progress and the creation of the process and facilitate easy re-engagement for future enhancements. Ultimately, the app will guide the user in developing market-relevant products based on insights in their Instagram channel and audience engagement. Great, we've updated your, well done. Partially correct. This perfectly describes. All right, so let's go back and see. Now I want to keep going. Process payments. All right, let's do this. Whew, man, I got to go. On questions on the next series of questions. How difficult is it for the questions to be dynamic based on the project idea instead of these silly canned questions that often are irrelevant to the actual project. Better user experience and higher value if the questions were specific to the project idea. Especially with the nature of the questions on nature of the question number 2 about what qualifies as a successful app. Many of the questions. Now, there's a good and bad part to this because maybe some of these questions, no, the app doesn't mention any of this, but maybe some of these questions will spark an idea. So there's that. But there's another part of the process that brings up this stuff anyway, so. Let's see what it says. Although it has to be done, but this is not what the user is. Connect the external business systems to APIs. The user don't know that. So it needs to have, real user level questions, and then the 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 AI determines what is important to done in order to facilitate the things that the app must do from the user's verbiage. You know what I'm saying? Which is kind of different than what I put in there. So, but that needs to be taken into account as well. Like for example, when you say connect the external business systems to APIs, all right, that might be what has to be done on the back end, but what is that in reference to up here? So you want to say able to connect to Instagram, like maybe there's an API that needs to be used in order to do that. But this person don't know that. All they know, so you should be saying the important thing is for it to actually be able to connect to Instagram. But in this case, that's the only place. So obviously that's important. But suppose I said to social media, and then you will say, no, suppose I said, all right, so APIs, well, I said digital product. I don't know, but you get the idea. I was thinking, so creating a blog post is probably easier than a digital product. The digital product might require Canva API or some other API for the creation. OpenAI, maybe. Uh, Whereas posting to the blog might only require a Python script. So you might say, what would qualify as it being successful? Posting to the blog, or posting to Instagram, or posting or creating a digital product. And so the user can answer that question, but only one of them requires connecting to the API. So they don't know how to answer based on whether it connects to the API or not. They know how to answer based on whether what's most important, the blog or social media, or the digital product, or let's say the other one was a audio book. Yeah. So I think you get the idea. The question needs to be customer friendly, basically, and relevant to the actual app. That's what I'm saying. And I'm gonna let you see how this ends, but I won't be back because I got to get ready to go.